Rust, and just pop rivets, and hardware. What is that? Huh? What are you? Oh, God. Hey, how you guys doing? Well, let's get this fixed. We gotta fix it somehow. I've got a trick. Fingers crossed, it works out. Not been my day today. Maybe my luck will change. Welcome back, Junks Automotive. So yeah, this is a door off the MGA. Sure doesn't look good on the inside, does it? We got some hardware, some doodads and stuff that need to get out of here. There's still probably an acorn or two, you know. So let me get the shop vac out, start cleaning it up, get some parts off, get at this thing. Maybe. I hope. Probably not. So if you've been following along, you'll know we've got a lot of expensive primer on this MGA, the whole car. So this is some really thick visqueen, got it masked off, except for the very final edge, and I'll tell you why all that is later. Excuse the noise, the boys are here mowing, so that way I don't have to do it. Big piece of foam rubber, or foam something, so that we don't damage stuff, it'll protect it. Then, of course, anything happens when we go to block the outside, we'll be able to fix it at that point. Now, I've got to do a lot of things like that. Things like the little Duralock, hooky lock, cleaner pads, wire brush action, the whole 9 yards. Get this as clean as I can inside and out. Okay, one done. Well, got it about cleaned up as I can get it cleaned. You can see the rust pits. Now I've got to, if you've been watching me for very long, you're gonna know what I'm about to do. A little rusty up under the edge here. Down inside, if you can see that white stuff, it looks like white chalk or maybe Bondo dust. It's not. That's corrosion, where the aluminum touches the metal shell and it corrodes. So we're going to address that, especially that. But really all I did, use a combination of wire brushes, the Roll-A-Lock gasket cleaners, and these are the coarse ones. And I happen to have a big box full. You can probably get on the Amazons and go ahead and order you a big bunch, but they're great for gasket removing, obviously. The brown ones are the coarse, but they're great for removing paint and rust, you know, and this edge is good too. You can get down inside there and clean up them edges. Then the edges, well, the edges of the door, I want to paint everything to the edge of the door. That's why I masked everything off, and I'm going to mask it again. I don't want this special paint to be on the outside, right? I don't want to have to block that off. I want it just on the edge. This all inside here, you know, just roughed it up really good. Best I can get to it. I did take my urethane reducer. First I just put a bunch here and wiped on it, and I was like, yep, it takes that paint off, okay? which is okay, but what I'm worried about is it lifting paint. So any place where I couldn't get the paint off, will it lift it? Over here, the black paint was pretty thick, and I'm assuming it's the original paint. I'm gonna guess it's lacquer. Don't know. I put a big glob of it right here and just let it sit and watched it. I wanted to see if it took that paint loose and lifted it or what. Well, it made it tacky, and then it dried up, and once it dried up, that paint was just like it was before that. So with any luck, what I'm about to do will work out just fine. But of course, I have another door to take off and clean up first. So I'll see you in a bit. Well, as you can see, we're pretty near there, as good as they're going to get. Now, if this was a concourse restoration, or maybe on your project you want it to be perfect, you would probably have these doors soda blasted or something inside, and let me tell you, how are you going to get paint up in here anyway, down in here, you know? No, we're going to get paint in there, but I've cleaned and cleaned, you know, inside the doors, the 150, and vacuumed 300 times and blew it, all the junk out, and there's still going to be dirt in there. So there's a piece right there, you know. But what I want to do real quick before we go any further is down inside the bottom of these doors where all the water's set, then kind of corroded those doors and these door bottoms. I've got some, you guessed it, Pour 15, thinned down pretty good, and it's probably way more than the usual 10% you would probably use. And the reason for that is I want it thin. I want it to get down in those little crevices. And you know, that's why I've got them propped up like that. So, and we'll leave it set for a few minutes, and then we'll go on to the next step. You know, I just want to get down where you saw that white stuff, that corrosion, and even the bottom of the door a little bit, best I can. Like I says, this is one way of doing it. This is how I'm doing it. And it depends on the project. That 57 Chevy out there, when I do the doors, probably exactly the same way. This is going to have, you know, I assume that it will have upholstery, door panels, door cards, whatever we buy or I make. I'd like to make some, actually. Do some upholstery work. I think that would be fun. Something a little different, you know. It's going to cover all this anyway. So I paid particular attention to the outer edges, the top edges, the outside of the door when it's open. You can see it. You know, I spent extra time on that, trying to get it cleaned up. It's just that way. You open the door, somebody knows what they're looking at, goes, oh, that's pretty nice. You know. Now originally we were going to Pour 15 all the inner panels black and just leave it that way, and use the English racing green on all the outer panels. And yeah, you know, Ralph didn't change his mind. I changed my mind. Decided I wanted to go a little bit further. You know, I mean, if we're going to Pour 15 this stuff, we're probably going to have to do the exact same thing as far as cleaning it and prepping it. And that's the hardest part about this whole deal, just getting it prepped. Clean as we can get it. Clean as, you know, as good as we can get it, and that's it. I just want to get this stuff kind of down where the aluminum outer panel pinches around the steel, just to help protect it. Okay. That's probably going to be good. All right, let me get set up. We're going to spray some colors. All right, so HVLP gun. I think this is like a 1.5 tip, something like that. I've got the pattern, small, about as small as I can make this gun do. I got the air pressure down a little bit. Just I want to get inside those doors the best I can, around my edges. Now you see the masking tape, right? That's because I want to paint just the edges of the door. I don't want it out here, you know. We get a little bit, that's one thing, but if I didn't do that, we'd end up having to block, you know, 2 coats of, it'll be 1 coat of 415 urethane base, urethane reducer, 2 coats of urethane base coat, English Racing Green, then 1, maybe 2 coats of clear coat, right? We're going to keep it on the nil. It's on the inside. Something reacts, something acts funny. It's not a huge deal. It's on the inside, right? We stripped the whole car down the metal, so we don't have to worry about it. This is a little bit different. So let me get the mask on. Gotta have the hat. You can watch a little bit, just so I can kind of see what, I'm not sure how it's. There's our light coat of 415, but you know, that stuff covers like crazy. I did miss like a little spot right there, no big deal. This is for the rust conversion. Now I could have, you know, used the rust mort down inside everything and rinsed it with water, then let it dry, and you know, homie ain't got time for that stuff. We got to get this show on the road. And besides that, you know, the rust mort and the water thing all inside the little crevices, it would just, I think it'd been more of a nightmare than it was worth when we could just do this. Now the thing is, I'm using this as a sealer, right? I'm gonna have to use black sealer on this. You know, epoxy sealer, like a quick coat, and then start putting our green on, you know. So we'll let this set up, and we'll get the green out. It's gonna be a long night, I believe. Well, here's our color. Green. English Racing Green. It's 2-to-1 mix. 2 parts paint, 1 part reducer. You know, restoration shop. Not the highest quality thing you ever buy, but seems thin. Well, it's Sunday morning. About 1:15. Long night. Waiting for that pour 15 to set up. That's the bad thing about pour 15 is this stays gooey a long time. Extra reducer in it seemed to help, so we're getting ready to Put a coat of color. Yep, using a filter this time. Two pretty wet coats of English Racing Green. Now there's some trash, some funkiness going on, a couple fish eyes, and I suspect what that is, but you know, if the outside of that car looks like this, I'd be upset. This, I'm not. You know, most of this you will not see, which makes this whole project kind of seem silly, but you know, I'm pretty pleased with it. I don't have any sags or runs, which makes it good practice. By the time I do the fenders and all that, I'll be ready to go for that, the outside. All right, get it set up, mix some clear, and make it look shiny. 4-to-1, okay. So that's 4 parts clear coat, 1 part hardener. Now your clear coat and your hardeners, I do know this, I don't know much. I really don't. Into your hardeners, your paints, clear coats, you want them mixed up, right? All you gotta do now is figure out how to get the, so here's what I did. This stuff comes as a kit, so I bought this small kit to do the edges, do the insides and all that. Then a gallon kit to do the outside. I figure that'll give us coverage. How you get these things open, I don't know. There you go. Well, that's just weird. Huh. All right, well. So on the mixing cup, 4-to-1. I want to find the 4 and the 1. Now the paint, the little bit that I mixed for that was too much. So I'm going to go of course it was 2-to-1, so like it says, we might only do 1 coat, maybe 2 coats. Dang it, of clear, because there's no reason, you know. In this case, the clear is to protect the base coat. Not be able to wet sand it and buff it, which we will have that ability on the outside if it's necessary. You know, plan is to get all these parts edged in. We're going to do the trunk the same way, the engine compartment the same way, fenders and all that edged in. Then put the car together for block sanding. Get the car blocked out, get it cleaned up. Maybe we get Ralph to come and sand. I know he hates that. He hates that sound, but you know, maybe if he's doing it, maybe it'll be all right. So I've cleaned the gun. I kind of washed the gun out. It's not super clean. I got a little bit of reducer in there still. I'm going to dump that out. Throw this right in there and get at it. Yep. Well, 2 coats of base British Racing Green and 2 coats of clear coat. There's some, see the little, right? I believe that's from the pour 15 not being set up enough. And I think doing this again, I'll let the pour 15 set up for 3 or 4 hours before I put a top coat on it. Not 30 minutes. Otherwise, you're not going to see none of this anyway. It's green. It's rust proofed. You know, like I said, we'll do it different on the outside of the car, but the inner panels, they are what they are. It definitely made a big difference. Yep. Well, there you have it. You know, for what it is, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, started at about 6 o'clock in the evening. We're done at 3. You know, and I wish I'd have left more time for the pour 15 to set up, but hey, now I know, right? And again, you guys do what you want on your projects, but this is a quick, dirty, easy way. Look, it looks nice, you know. I'm pleased with it. Sent pictures to Ralph, he's ecstatic. He says he's gonna come help sand. Probably not. Anyhow, look, I really appreciate you guys watching and sharing and commenting. Some of the comments that you guys send me, I'm kind of blown away that you'd actually think what you think of watching me do my silly stuff on a Saturday night in the barn, you know. So, man, thank you guys. Thank you guys. And if you're watching this for the first time, you know, consider subscribing. Sharing on your social media thing, whatever that stuff is, to Twitters or the tweet, whatever, I don't know. If that, is that a thing? I don't know. Anyhow, man, it's been a long night. I've got editing to do and get this video up for you guys. So, hey, we'll see you next week. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you again next Sunday. Junk out. Thanks for watching. Junk's Automotive. I gotta pee.